You're listening to Cross Rhythms Plymouth 96.3 FM online and on DAB across Plymouth. And I've got the privilege of being joined down the line by Andy Mulcock, who is involved here in the Southwest with an organization called Gather, or a movement really called Gather Movement. We're going to find out a bit more about what Gather is and particularly about an event coming up here in Plymouth very soon. So, hi Andy, great to have you. Great to have you joining us.
Thanks, Dave. It's really great to be here and have the opportunity to speak with you on Cross Rhythms. Thank you.
No problem at all. No problem. So, first question then, I suppose, Andy, is in your words, what is Gather? What's Gather Movement all about?
Well, Gather Movement is a network of over 150 UK towns and cities where there are Christians who work together collaboratively under different guises and in different forms. It's a kind of a recognition that God has been at work in our nation, drawing people together with real concern and interest, not just for unity, but for the outcomes of working collaboratively.
Mm.
And where those groups have found one another, they've basically become a network, a move of God and a movement of God across the nation. So there's 150 plus
Wow.
unity groups in different towns, cities, regions, locations, localities that now kind of network together for encouragement, for sharing stories, best practice, occasionally to discuss the challenges that we face. And so basically a relational network that supports and encourages unity all across the nation and sees those groups not in isolation, but working collaboratively as well.
Amazing. Amazing. So, within those cities or towns where there is a kind of Gather Movement presence, the people within the Gather Movement, are they sort of individuals? Are they churches? Are they charities? Are they businesses? Are they kind of public institutions, or is it a bit of everything that kind of comes together to form a Gather kind of movement in a particular
It,
town or
it could
city?
it could be a bit of anything and everything, to be honest. And in different towns and cities, it will have a different shape. So you'll be aware of organizations and groupings such as Christians Together groups or transforming groups together. There are various projects which have been initiated around collaborative work and where they relate together informally or collaboratively as a charity, set up as an organizational uh, identity itself. Any of them might have found that Gather Movement is a help and a support and a service to what they want to do and how they would like to develop.
Mm.
And so they've been connecting together. So there's no written prescription. It's not a top-down approach. It's all about finding one another relationally and being encouraged together.
And then what sort of things are they then involved in the communities that they serve? I guess that varies wildly from one place to the next, too.
There will be a whole mixture. You're absolutely right there. It's a good point. So, where there is a sense of God being on the move and where there are opportunities and opening doors, what Gather is particularly keen to do is to encourage the civic partnership. So, in various towns and cities, you will find street pastors or street angels that link with an organizational group or a strategic group that oversee collective work in a location or a locality or region. You will find things around food poverty. You will find things around mental health support. And there's a fair bit of work going on around toddler groups and working with younger families and family hub connections. So there's a plethora, anything to do with poverty, food provision, homelessness. There are all sorts of responses that we find. And that's why it's encouraging when different groups connect with one another who have a similar heart motivation or opportunity that's presented to them, perhaps by their local council.
Amazing, amazing, really amazing to hear how, people are coming together to serve the places that they live, to be kind of the hands and feet of Jesus through that. But as you say, not just doing it in silos, not doing it individually as individual churches, but that coming together, which is really in the name, gather, and in the heart of all that you're about, makes it more effective, more powerful for each city. And then obviously all the cities together combined, it's an amazing thing over the whole nation. We're going to stop for some music now, pick up the conversation with Andy. After this, maybe talk, Andy, a little bit about your role, kind of how you've been involved, how long you've been involved, why it is that you're involved yourself. And then we'll talk about the Southwest Gather Summit and how you guys can get involved if you're listening to this and thinking that's something I'd like to come along to. Speak more with Andy after this. You're listening to Cross Rhythms Plymouth. You join me in conversation with Andy Mulcock, who's involved in Gather movement, particularly here in the Southwest. And if you've just tuned in, you've kind of missed Andy sharing a bit about what Gather is more generally. So you'll have to check it out on our YouTube channel, on our website as well, to listen again to this interview in full and to watch it on YouTube. But Andy, let's personalize it then for this section. Your personal involvement, how long has that been the case of you being involved in Gather movement, and why was it that you decided to get involved?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. I mean, I think from the early days of being a follower of Jesus, I valued the breadth and diversity of the church, and also saw I really appreciated Christian unions and meeting with those who had maybe a different Christian experience from me. So I've always had a heart for basically unity of Christians, finding our place together and our identity as followers of Jesus. Whatever congregation or denomination we're in, there's a bigger picture that we're all part of. And from that, I found myself involved in various collaborative church and Christian projects and events where you can be more effective if you collaborate and if you have shared strategy than lots of individuals working independently. That's always been my view, I guess, from the early days of being a follower of Jesus. That led me to be involved as a local church leader. I'm based here in Exeter with other church leaders and with basically a unity group or any expressions that brought leaders together. I would always see as quite a priority. God calls us to places, He's concerned about those places, and so we can be collectively if God calls us to them. So I've been part of the leaders' relational groupings here in Exeter over a number of years. When we were also then thinking strategically about the projects around homelessness, around schools work, around the poor and food poverty, we realized that we could learn. And
Mm.
as a group, several of us went along to events that were hosted by Gather Movement. And that was probably around 2017, 18, 19. In my case, I got involved in that. It was very encouraging, very supportive. And so began a relationship where we connected with Gather Movement. I myself then was sort of passing on local church leadership to a younger generation, for which I'm very thankful, having a little more time and capacity to connect a little more, to learn more, always wanting to learn more. And then a couple of years ago, really, Gather Movement approached me and said, well, you're doing some good work in Exeter. There's other locations across the southwest of England. Would I mind giving some time, maybe a day a week, to help coordinate and draw communication together between the southwest groups
Mm.
to give it a little bit more of a local focus? So I've been very pleased and honoured, really, to fulfil that role and just to bring encouragement across the southwest unity groups and also make people aware of what resources and services are available to help and encourage us in all that we're doing in our regions, our localities, towns, and cities where we work collaboratively.
That's brilliant. That's so good to hear. I love how it's within the movement and within the kind of ethos of Gather movement. It's that town cities in their individual place work together within that city, but then obviously with your remit and the wider vision, it's that then the Southwest works a bit more together between different towns and cities within the Southwest. So there's kind of layers upon layers of trying to build unity, trying to build that collaboration, trying to see things develop, as you said, more effectively and see transformation happen on a more, wide scale basis and more effectively, really.
And that transformation is really what it's all about. It's the love of God, as you've previously expressed, being revealed and expressed to people so that they too can find that the love of God will touch their lives and they could find faith in Christ. So there's that whole aspect of spiritual transformation, of social transformation, of cultural transformation, all coming together.
Amazing.
It's exciting to see what God can do when we work collaboratively.
Yeah, absolutely. And so your role now, Southwest coordinator, is that something you've been doing for a long time? Is that more in recent years? How long have you been involved in
Yeah,
that?
so it's just for the last couple of years, really, that I've picked up that role.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd known of various groups, and there's some fantastic networks in the Southwest already. Great relational networks of leaders throughout Cornwall, throughout Devon, across the Southwest Peninsula, really,
Mm.
and lots of folks who have a similar heart and passion. So I was beginning to connect with those in different contexts at festivals, different leaders' gatherings, prayer times across Cornwall, Devon, also Dorset, Somerset, and up through into Bristol and some of Wiltshire as well. So it's quite a big region. But my focus then has really landed on the Southwest Peninsula, to be honest. There's
Amazing.
plenty of us working in exciting ways, drawing leaders together, and we wanted to connect a little bit more.
Amazing. Well, we're going to stop for some music now before we get to the final part, in which we will talk about the Southwest Gather Summit specifically. It's coming up pretty soon. It's coming up here in Plymouth. So we're going to talk to Andy about that, about the specifics of it, and how you can get along to it as well. Talk more after this. You're listening to Cross Rhythms Plymouth in conversation with Gather Movement Southwest Coordinator Andy Mulcock. If you are just tuning in, check out the YouTube channel for Cross Rhythms Plymouth and our website for listening again to this, because you kind of missed Andy talk about what Gather Movement is. Of course, just Google Gather Movement UK. You'll find out lots more there. But specifically now, we're going to talk about the Southwest Gather Summit. So, Andy, take it away. What is that? What's that purpose of that event, and what happens there?
Well, I was becoming aware of the different networks and groups, fantastic work going on in different towns and across the region, coordinated and collaborating groups across the Southwest. And we had a kind of an initial get together of folks from, say, Torbay United, Transformation Cornwall, Transforming Plymouth together, churches together in Cornwall, churches together in Devon, and so on. Drew many groups together and ministries. And folks said, well, we would really appreciate the opportunity to get together and have a summit, a sharing of what is going on across Devon and Cornwall. And so we felt that there was something that God was in, that it was going to be of value to draw people together for relationship encouragement, to connect together, to be inspired, to dream a little bit about the influence that we as the church have across the Southwest Peninsula, and to encourage one another. And so we schemed that we should draw together folks for a 24-hour summit, not necessarily a conference, but there'll be some great input in it, but a sharing together, a learning together, an encouragement time to sense more of what God is doing across, particularly our two counties here in the Southwest Peninsula.
Amazing, amazing. I'm going to throw up on screen for YouTube viewers information about it, but for you listening, Andy, tell us, when is it? I suppose who's it for, and also how can people get along to it?
So this really is an opportunity for all Christians who want to, who are pursuing social, cultural, and spiritual transformation together in any way. But it's about the collaborative, strategic working together. And if folks have a heart for that, then we would love to welcome you to this event. And if you're already involved in networks and groupings such as churches together groups, or working together in your town and or any other organizational structure, then it'd be great to have two or three representatives from places and localities and regions all across Devon and Cornwall coming together. We'd love to have you as part of this summit and event and sharing together. We will have some great input coming. We have Roger Sutton, who is the CEO of Gather Movement, a great inspiration and encouragement. He has a good team around him, but he's the one who's available to come and speak to us here in the Southwest, has a great passion and heart to see God at work increasingly across Cornwall and Devon in particular. We have Jen Flanagan, who will be bringing us real challenge before God, sensing the love of our hearts to motivate us. Andy Flanagan will be there as well, helping us to think about civic engagement, how we engage with local politicians effectively. We have our local bishops, Bishop James from Plymouth and Bishop David from Cornwall, bringing encouragement to us, as well as others from different parts of the country who will share their stories of how God has been at work in their places. We will also have leaders from the police and also our local councils, particularly in the light of local government reorganisation. We want to hear what the current perspective on that is and how we as the church collectively can really have effective partnership with all those who are involved in the different councils and whatever comes out of local government reorganisation in the end, we don't know yet, to make sure that we're there playing our part and partnering well with our local politicians. So a whole group of people coming together to share for that over 24 hours. Now it's the 4th and 5th of February, sort of lunchtime to lunchtime on that Wednesday and Thursday, the first week of February. And we're holding this in Plymouth at the Methodist Central Hall. It's a lovely central venue, car parks nearby and so on. But also you can stay nearby, arrange accommodation and be part of something where you have opportunity to meet with others more informally as well for that overnight stay. So that's where we're going to be, and it'd be great to welcome as many folks as possible along to that time.
Amazing, amazing. So it is an event that is ticketed. The information that we threw up on the screen saying that it's £40 for both days, and you can find out more. Search the Southwest Gather Summit online. I believe, is it through Eventbrite, the booking
The
system?
bookings are through Eventbrite,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So Eventbrite, you'll have heard us mention that for various events over the years. That's Event Brite. So go to their website, search Southwest Gather Summit, and you will find stuff there. I know as well it's on Churches Together in Plymouth website. So for anyone who visits there, there's information on their events pages at ctip.org.uk. So do find out more there. Andy, anything else to share about the events and what's coming up?
Well, we would just love to welcome you there. We sense God is at work in the Southwest, and historically, the Southwest has had a great influence across the whole nation. And we sense through, like, for instance, the early days of Methodism and so on, we saw great impact and great missions have gone from the Southwest. And perhaps there are days of further influence for us as being a salt and light in the Southwest, an example in the nation as well of what we can do when we work collaboratively across, especially a more rural region and where we have more isolated communities. There's great opportunity to connect in this and being together. And we'd really value your presence and being part of all that God is doing with us at that summit. So thank you so much.
Amazing. Andy, thank you so much. And as mentioned, check out the Southwest Gather Summit, 4th and 5th of Feb, Methodist Central Hall. Info in the places we've mentioned.